What is up, guys? Delboy here. A quick preview and prediction for Terence Crawford versus Amir Khan. This fight goes down on the 20th of April and it takes place at the Madison Square Garden in New York. Terence Crawford, as we know, is defending his WBO welterweight title. Terence Crawford, he goes into this fight with a perfect record of 34-0 with 25 knockouts, whereas Amir Khan goes into the fight with a record of 33 wins, 4 defeats, 0 draws, 20 of his 33 wins coming by way of knockout. Terence Crawford, he's listed as 5'8" with a 74-inch reach, whereas Amir Khan is listed as 5'8.5" with a 71-inch reach. So Amir Khan does have a half an inch height advantage, but Terence Crawford has a 3-inch reach advantage, and that could be detrimental to Amir Khan in this fight. And all in all, Terence Crawford, yeah, he goes into this fight a big favourite. Most of us are expecting Terence Crawford to win, and a lot of us are expecting Terence Crawford to win in good fashion. Most people, from what I see, are picking Crawford by knockout, and I've got to say I do agree with those people. To me, Amir Khan is dangerous early on. He's not a big puncher, but he's very quick and he can catch you off guard. Amir Khan has scored several early round knockouts because of his speed, because of his combinations, and it takes a lot of opponents by surprise. So I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Amir Khan starts well in this fight due to his speed, due to his in and out movement. I could see Terence Crawford taking a few rounds to get used to Amir Khan's speed, to get used to his movement, and potentially after 3 or 4 rounds, Terence Crawford could be down on the cards. But the thing with Amir Khan is, in a lot of fights, if he doesn't stop you early on, like Le Greco or Salita, people like that, he can tail off as the fight goes on. You know, you look at that Maidana fight, you look at his last fight with Samuel Vargas, even the Canelo fight. In the first couple of rounds, he started quite well, but as soon as Canelo started to judge Khan's movement, as soon as Canelo started to work that body, Khan slowed down and he got knocked out. So Khan can start really quickly, but he doesn't always maintain it throughout a fight. He can maintain it if the guy he's fighting isn't really pressuring him. You know, guys like Collazo or Devon Alexander, Paulie Malignaggi. In those circumstances, he can manage his stamina and he can coast to a points win. But when a fight's competitive, when a guy puts it on him, he does gas, he does flag, and down the stretch, you know, he's very vulnerable. I mean, like I said, the Canelo fight, the fight with Samuel Vargas, the fight with Maidana, the fight with Julio Diaz. There's numerous fights in Khan's career when he tails off down the stretch, and it's mainly in high-profile, hard fights. So I see that being the case here, and I see Khan winning the early rounds, or potentially winning the early rounds, because Crawford has had trouble with speed in the past. I mean, you go back to the Gamboa fight, he dropped rounds early on in that fight, and I know Gamboa is a totally different fighter to Amir Khan, but Gamboa's speed certainly troubled Crawford in that one. And even in the Delorme fight early on, you know, Delorme's quick, long punches gave Crawford problems. I know it was only for 2 or 3 rounds, but still, Crawford did have a few issues, and I think Amir Khan does possess some similarities to Thomas Delorme. I believe Khan is best when he's on the outside, you know, using that jab, using that quick right hand, and, you know, playing safety first, basically. You know, you go back to performances against the likes of Collazo and Devon Alexander. You know, not many risks, just make the most of your in and out movement, use that jab, use that right hand, and take the opportunities when they arise. You know, be composed, be calm, and make the most of your physical attributes. That's when I think Khan is at his best. When Khan gets drawn into a fight, when Khan tries to trade, when Khan gets hurt, that's when he comes unstuck, to be quite honest. And also, and mainly, it's when Khan loses concentration. Even when he's boxing well, you know, his in-ring IQ lets him down. I mean, you go back to that Danny Garcia fight where, you know, Khan was boxing fairly well early on. He was winning the rounds, but, you know, the silly mistake that he made got him dropped the first time around, and then Danny Garcia stopped him. I mean, go back and watch that fight. Khan was winning the early rounds, and then he threw an uppercut from basically the outside. Stupid shot to throw. It gave Danny Garcia the chance to counter with that big left hook, and that lost the fight for him. You know, in-ring IQ. His in-ring IQ isn't of a high level, to the point where even when he's in control, he's one mistake away from danger. And against a guy like Terence Crawford, to me, that's a no-no. It's going to get you beat. It's going to get you knocked out. And that's what I expect to happen here, to be quite honest. I think Khan starts well, but eventually Terence Crawford will either pick up on a mistake and he will capitalise and stop Khan, or alternatively, he will pick up Khan's patterns and, you know, he'll go to work, he'll adjust, and he'll stop Khan late on. I just believe Khan, I wouldn't say he's basic, but he does fight in patterns, you know. He does go in and out in straight lines. He doesn't really move his head. He is available to the body, you know. Go back to that Danny Garcia fight. That was another thing that people didn't really pick up on in that fight. Danny Garcia did a really good job of going down to the body to try and slow Khan down. And there are numerous ways you can beat Khan. You can catch him with one clean shot. You can pressure him. You can wait for him to make a mistake. Terence Crawford will find a way, and he will knock Amir Khan out, in my opinion. I do believe it will be a fun fight for as long as it goes, but eventually I believe Terence Crawford will catch up to Amir Khan in one way or another, whether that be by pressure, whether that be by countering Khan after he's made a mistake. He will get to Khan, and I believe Crawford can do it in a multitude of different ways. Terence Crawford, he's got multiple tools in the toolbox, whereas Amir Khan, despite the flashy speed, despite the combinations, is basically a one-trick pony. I believe Terence Crawford wins this fight by knockout. When that knockout occurs, I really don't know, because it could be late, it could be middle, it could be early. You just don't know with Amir Khan. But yeah, Terence Crawford by knockout is my pick. Share your thoughts below. Peace.